Well, hello. This is your friend, Crystal Lee Moore Lucier, also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor, Crystal Lee Moore. Welcome to day 3 of our challenge. So exciting. I hope that you guys have been doing your walks, and we're going to be adding some more things into the mix. So we're honestly at the end of this 30 days, you're going to be like so overwhelmed with how great everything is going, and it all gets credited back to filling your brain in with the awesome stuff while you are taking care of your body. And a big piece of that is not to get all deep in science on us, but the so when we're looking at like what we're putting into our minds consciously and unconsciously, a lot of the times we'll think it's not a big deal to watch like TikToks or YouTubes or whatever. It's all going in, all going in, all going in. And that's why sometimes, like, I think that, and we've talked about this before, but something like, I don't know, 95% of what you think today, you thought yesterday. And so that will also include, like, if you put something into your brain, like, have you ever noticed that you start saying something that you hear, like, in a show? This happened to my husband. Like, called someone a hoss the other day, and he's never said a hoss in his life, but he's watching a show where they say hoss. Anyway, so that was what we figured out. So day three. Day three, what I picked was the science of happiness, and happiness is an option. So this is where Mel Robbins interviews Shawn Achor, good guy, but Buffini likes him too. And so this one was really cool because what they talk about is that people are always learning. And so what he used to say is that happiness is a choice, but really that's not always fair because this is a guy that went through depression, and sometimes happiness is not a choice. You can't choose to be happy if you're not happy, but it is an option. So there are things you can do. You can set yourself up, you can set up your life so that you feel happy, even when you don't necessarily feel happy. What? Tell me more. Okay, I will. Okay, so what they talk about are 4 habits that you can do every single day. And he says to do it for 21 days, but I think let's do it for 30 because we're doing a 30-day challenge. So he says what you should do every day. So you start your day with a 2-minute gratitude, but it's not just in the writing down of the gratitudes. I do gratitudes every morning, but I do the same ones because I heard long ago, like, what if you woke up tomorrow and all you had were the things that you said you were grateful for today? So I like really lock in. So I'm grateful, like my husband, my family, my health, God, like all these things. So, but he says it's actually in the science of scanning the last 24 hours for things to be grateful for that's where the science and the magic happens. So pick 3 new things every day that you're grateful for over the last 24 hours. And they can honestly, there are no rules. It could be you're grateful that you're breathing, you're grateful that you spent time with this person, you're grateful that you got to laugh, that you had a great sleep, whatever it is, you get to pick, but you write them down. Then you also do a 15-minute brisk walk. Now, part of this is that we're doing at least 30 minutes, but you could like briskly walk for 15 minutes and then you could leisurely walk for 15 minutes. Honestly, no one is even going to check. But the brisk walk, he said, is actually better than taking like an antidepressant. Really? So yeah, give it a try. And again, like they actually have disclaimers in theirs, but I'm a real estate broker and I'm a writer and a trainer. I am not a medical professional, so please don't take any of this as instead of medical advice. I'm just kind of sharing what I've learned. So he also says at some point during the day, take your hands off the keyboard and just breathe for 2 minutes. Now, the breathing is cool because like it's so good for your mind, but it's also like if you're on some sort of a fitness challenge, it's actually the breathing. That's how fat, like excess fat leaves your body. Um, what? Yeah, I know. Look it up though. It's true. But you just take the 2 minutes and just like calm and settle. And apparently that 2-minute break will actually bring up your productivity. So that's fun. And then 2 minutes to write thankful appreciation notes to someone in your life. So that could be an email, a text, a WhatsApp, it could be a phone call, a video, however you want to do it. World is your oyster, but you're saying to someone in your life, hey, thank you. I appreciate what you did. I appreciate you. You matter, whatever, whatever. And you pick a different person every day. Um, it's a pretty big deal. So the biggest thing is that what we want to do is make sure that we're taking the time to appreciate and acknowledge the people around us. And it's really taking the microscope off of you. So a lot of the times, like if you're ever having a blah day, and now the reason we're doing this in January is that there might be a lot of blah days. But if you're having a blah day, you just need to focus on other people. So that's why they say sometimes if you're feeling yucky, go volunteer, help someone. So that's what this is. You're taking the focus off of you and you're really launching into someone else and helping them. And yeah, so I mean, in addition, so we're going to add these things in. 2 minutes of gratitude. So three extra things. You're doing the scan, like what am I grateful for? Doing the walk, 2 minutes of breathing, and 2 minutes of notes. Now, if you're not sure that you could actually stop in the middle of what you're doing because you're so frantic, it's so stressful, whatever, do it. Like, let's just say, make a deal with yourself that like, I'm going to have my coffee. And while I have my first 2 minutes of coffee, I'm not going to do anything but like sip, deep breath, sip, deep breath, however you want to do it, because it's in the act of doing these things that's really going to make a difference. Okay, so we did that. Let's look at day 3 of our book. And just as a reminder, we're using The Pivot Year by Brianna Wiest. So day 3. One day you will realize that happiness is not what your house looks like or how you love the people within its walls. Happiness is not finding success by a certain time, but finding something you love so much the time itself seems to disappear. Happiness is not thinking you've earned the world's approval, but by waking up each day and feeling so at peace within your own skin, quietly anticipating the day ahead, unconcerned with how you are perceived. Happiness is not having the best of everything, but the ability to make the best of anything. Ooh, I like that. Happiness is knowing you're doing what you can with what you are given. Happiness is not something that comes to you and every problem is solved and all things are perfectly in place, but in the shining silver linings that remind us the light of the day is always there if you slow down enough to notice. Now, that reminds me of something else they said in this podcast. I hope you listen to it. A lot of the times people, especially, so they did this guy, so Shawn went to Harvard. And he said at Harvard, there was this like phenomenon that people who had worked so hard to get in, all of a sudden were at this very high risk of being depressed or even wanting to potentially harm themselves. And they're trying to figure out what is that? What is that? And the thing is like the joy in achievement is actually found in the achieving, not in the attaining. So when we look at like, and this is kind of, it's the, is that it phenomenon. Buffini talks about that. You work and you work and you work and you work and you get it. And it's almost like, oh, I thought I'd be happier here, or I've been working so hard. Shouldn't this feel different? But it's in the pursuit. And the pursuit of happiness is the goal, is the joy, because once you like you get there, there really is no there. So like there's always like a leveling up. In our last episode, we talked about like that kind of the emulation, assimilation, innovation. But once you kind of get that, you achieve it, you just move on and add something else. You're always learning, you're always growing. Tony Robbins says, like, if we're not growing, we're dying. So you are always going to have something to shoot for if you are open to it. And what is a goal but a dream with a deadline, right? So it really is exciting. And I definitely recommend you get the Pivot Year. Thank you to my colleague, Mandy, colleague and friend. I really appreciate it. This is amazing. I'm very excited about it. And it's almost weird that it's like lining up with these things, but that's what the universe does. And as we know, let it, let them, let it. It's amazing. So day 3, I hope that you guys are just rocking it. Go for the walk whenever, by the way, morning, night, afternoon, whatever. You're just listening. So I did mine today, and then I ended up having to take a phone call on my walk. And you know what? It was amazing. It was still cold out, not as cold as it has been, but I had sunshine, and that vitamin D was like everything. And I did wear sunscreen for anyone wondering. But Yeah, day three, guys. So we've got this. I'm Crystal Lee Moore Lucier, your home sweet home 519 realtor. Crystal Lee Moore, thank you so much for coming along this journey with me. I'm excited that we're doing it together, and I will see you tomorrow.